and welcome to the Mission TV show. First off, today I want to start by reading Isaiah chapter 58, verses 6 and 7. It says, "Is not this the fast that I have chosen? To loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, and that ye break every yoke. Is it not to deal thy bread to the hungry, and that thou bring the poor that are cast out to thy house? When thou seest the naked, that thou cover him, and that thou hide not thyself from thine own flesh." Verse 7 talks about dealing thy bread to the hungry and bringing the poor that are cast out to your house. What if your house isn't in the right country? And what if the bread that they eat is rice? Let's go to Thailand and meet some people who are trying to do exactly what this verse says. Here we are in Thailand with my good friends Leroy and Lisa Sharon, and let's ask them where we are in Thailand. First of all, where are we in Thailand?
Songkhlaburi.
Songkhlaburi. Okay, is that in the north or the east or the west of Thailand? Just to kind of give us a general picture of where we are.
I'm not sure.
He's in Thailand. He knows where he is.
Wait a minute.
He knows this plot of ground.
Like this is west.
Kind of
We're
west.
on the western edge of Thailand, right on the border of Burma. Near the border of Burma.
Near the border.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And how long have you been here in Songkhlaburi?
I have been here about 9 months.
And I have been here. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Well, let's get it straight.
Okay, March is, so I've been here almost 11 months.
Okay.
Technically,
Almost
I
11
haven't
months.
been here 9 either. Oh, how long have I been here?
You got back in July.
6 months.
Okay,
Almost
6
months.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you get here? How did you get to Thailand, first of all? How did you come to Thailand in the first place?
Well,
you can give us an overview picture. Or,
okay.
You know.
Well, we came to Thailand because I wanted to visit the different projects and write about them and kind of give people an idea of what was happening over here for Jesus for Asia. And I also wanted to visit my sons, which are 3 of them were missionaries here in Thailand. And so we came over for a 3.5-month trip, and here we are a year later.
So one of your sons is in Cambodia, though. He's not in
Yes,
Thailand. But you could
they're
come
all
to
in-
Thailand and then you could see him
Right.
fairly easily.
Right. He comes here for vacations.
That's nice. That's really nice. So how come you stayed here? I mean, you came for 3.5 months. How did the Lord tell you that you needed to stay here?
You want to tell that story? Oh, me. Okay. Well, we were pretty determined to go home after the 3.5. I was not, but everybody else was. Travis and Roy were pretty determined to go home after the 3.5 months. Before we came here, that was. And about 2 months after after we had been here 2 months, things started to change a little bit. We went up into the mountains and visited some villages, and you could stand on top of these mountains and just look out there, mountain range after mountain range after mountain range, and there's all these villages and all these people, the sweetest people that don't know God. They're animists or Buddhists, and we looked at this whole situation. We've been visiting all the different projects, and we saw how few projects there really are here in Thailand. It's like a handful of people trying to reach all these people, and there's such a huge need that, how could anybody in their right mind just look at that and then go home? We couldn't. We just knew that the Lord wanted us here. He'd prepared us for this job, and we can see that looking back. He's prepared us through years and years and years of training to come here. And so after that experience, we started looking for a project, a place that we could go and start something new with these people, the Korean people. And we were told about this training center in kind of southern Thailand, not really. Southwestern. And we'd been told that there was a building here that had been built with great enthusiasm, but nobody had come here, and so it was just sitting empty.
Okay, so Leroy, you said you haven't been here as long as Lisa. What happened in the middle there for you? What was going on?
Well, when we originally came over, of course we were only planning on 3.5 months. So I needed to go back to America to tie up all the loose ends, you might say, take care of things that needed to be taken care of. And so I went back for about 3 months, and with all kinds of plans to build a little house and rent out my house. 4 months?
4 months.
Okay, 4 months, that's okay.
It was an eternity at the time.
It was a long time.
And those plans were of course changed, and I ended up building a house for my father-in-law and spending a lot of time going to camp meetings and churches and speaking about the Lord's work here in Thailand. And so I didn't get much time to spend at home, and that's okay. So that's why I have not been over here quite as long.
Okay, so you said this was a training center. What exactly is the vision that the Lord gave you for what you're to do here? What's the work that you're doing?
You know, when we first came, we really didn't know. We knew that this is where the Lord wanted us, but we didn't really have a picture of what He wanted us to do here. You know, I'm an EMT, and I knew that I knew a lot more than the people around here do. And so I figured, well, I could have a medical clinic, or I could teach kids, or, you know, whatever. I didn't really know. I knew that we could teach English. I know that's a big thing here. If you can teach them English, they can get better jobs, and they can actually read the Bible and use reference materials, because they have a Bible that's not very accurate, but they have no reference materials at all to go with it. And so I thought, well, if I could teach them English, then I can teach them more about the Bible and things like that. And so I kind of had a little bit of an idea, but nothing concrete. It was like I decided that really this is not, it's not our project, really. It's just what God wants us to do, we're willing to do. So we have to just keep saying, Lord, what do you want us to do? You know, so it's kind of evolving as time goes on.
Okay, so what exactly have you started with right now?
Okay. You want to talk?
Well, we started out with 2 people that wanted to come to learn English, and they came while I was still in America. And one was an animist, and one came from another school, and she was acting as our interpreter. And so the Lord starts you out small, and then it grows. And we have went from that to now we have 5 students, 2 of which have been given to us to raise as their own children. And 3 of the students want to be missionaries. I think it's 3.
I don't remember.
Anyway, 3 of the students want to be missionaries, and one wants to be a doctor. And no, that's not true. I'm getting them all confused. Anyway, one wants to be a doctor, one wants to be a nurse missionary, and one wants to be a teacher missionary. And so,
A Bible worker, actually.
Bible worker. Yeah, and anyway, lost my train of thought.
Yeah. Well,
So are they finding opportunities right now? I mean, you mentioned one of your students was an animist when she came, right? It's one of
Yeah, that's
girls.
Pakamuti, and she has been attending a school here in Songklarbury, and she has been a missionary in her own school. Her Buddhist teacher, well, he's a Buddhist, but he doesn't teach Buddhism. He wanted to come and see us, have a parent-teacher conference, I guess, at our house. And so he came to talk to us right after school. And then he said he couldn't stay very long. But Pakamudi said, no, you got to stay for supper. And so he stayed for supper. And then he said, well, I got to go. But he said, well, how soon do you have worship? And I said, oh, about 15 minutes. And so he said, oh, I can stay that long. And he stayed with us for worship. Really enjoyed it, really respectful, and participated. I had him read from the Bible. And so after worship, he said several times, he said, you do this morning and evening every day? And I said, yes, and that really impressed him. And so I felt like that was a really good contact with him. But that would have never happened except for Pakamuti is already being a missionary in her own school.
Well, she was animist, though.
Yes, she
and
is
so
animist.
over the process of, how long has she been here?
She has been here about 9 months.
So over the process of the last 9 months since she came here, she's been having morning and evening worships with you and learning and being able to ask questions. And
It's been actually an amazing thing to watch, because when she first came, she was so shy that she wouldn't even talk to me. She would like sneak past me and, you know, sit on the bench and just act really scared all the time. And then I remember when she came, she was wearing devil strings and things, and I was really concerned about it. And I didn't want to say anything too soon because I knew where she was coming from. And so I waited like a week, and then I mentioned it to to the other student, and she told me, she says, oh, I've talked to her about it, and she still hadn't taken it off. So I said, well, I think I'd like to do a Bible study with her then, so that she can understand why I don't really want her to wear that here. And well, the other student went and talked to her.
It was devil strings and it was jewelry also?
Yeah, devil strings and jewelry. And the other student went and had the Bible study with her, and I have never seen it since. I don't know what she did with it, but it was just like as soon as she knew, and she knew why, she was so excited, and she just got rid of it. It was no longer an issue. And it's been that way with everything. A few months ago, she came to me and she says, Momo, none of your clothes have words on them. Why? And so I told her, I said, well, I'm a Christian and I don't want my clothes to advertise something besides that I'm a Christian. And so I don't have words, because a lot of their shirts over here have like satanic symbols and things. It's so common, it's just nobody thinks about it except for maybe us. And so she asked me, she said, Momo, I don't want to wear that stuff anymore. I want to be a Christian. I don't want that on my clothes. And so what do? We buy her some clothes, and she is the happiest girl, but she told me she wants to be baptized. She has to go back and ask her parents, and so when summer vacation comes, she's going to go back to the refugee camp and talk to her parents about it and see if she can be baptized. But I think she will be, because she's one of the ones that wants to be a missionary now. She's so excited about what she learned, she just wants to tell everybody.
That's really neat.
And she's no longer in the slightest bit shy. She's like such a sweet girl.
That's really neat. Now, it seems like you had told me one of the other students was going out into the village and having Bible studies with people. Am I remembering a story that was not? Was it somebody else?
I think that was somebody else.
Yeah, it's not.
There was someone else. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
They want to go out and do Bible studies, but they haven't done it yet because they're too busy.
Well, Pearl has been having Bible studies with Pakamuti.
And Zenda.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and after our Korean teacher and translator came, the second one, she started doing Bible studies with Pakamuti every night, and I didn't even know they were doing it for a while, but they told me about it afterwards, and they're just so excited when you ask them what they want to do. Often it'll be, can we study our Bibles?
That's really neat. Now, so how many languages do we have represented here at your school? For
Right
your
now,
training center, however you refer to it.
right now we
Your
have
home.
to, yeah, our home. Right now we have to translate every worship into Karen and then Burmese. No, they speak Karen, Burmese, Po, Thai, and English. And Ska. No, yeah, Ska, Po, Karen, Burmese, Thai. There's another one in there somewhere, but I can't remember where. There's a lot of languages. But right now, we have one student that doesn't speak Karen, and so it's really hard to communicate with her. She doesn't speak Karen or English, which is the languages that I happen to be learning. I mean, I know English, but not Karen very well.
Right.
And so it's kind of a challenge to communicate.
So worship's a little longer than usual, but everybody can understand that way,
Yeah.
which is really a blessing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so let's talk about the two that were given to you to raise as your own. You talked about two that were given to you. Now, are they boys like your other four?
No. I finally,
No?
at long last, got my girls.
So you have two girls. Now,
Two little
how
girls.
old are they?
When I got Hannah, she was 14 months old. And it was one of those situations where you go about your day, and we were actually visiting at our neighbor's house over here, and Ben was here, and I asked him, where's the caretaker? And he says, oh, he went to get a couple of girls. I don't know what he's doing. And so I thought, oh, that's interesting. It must be their grandchildren or something, you know. And so then they brought this little girl, just little girl, and she was so cute. And she was eating in the house, and she was filthy. I mean, like dirt. And she didn't have any clothes except for this like rag that was in holes, and I don't know what color it was. It was so filthy. But she was really cute. And so after we finished the worship time, I asked the caretaker, I said, so is this your granddaughter? And he says, no, here's your new daughter.
Oh my.
I'm like,
surprise!
oh.
And where was Leroy?
He was in America.
Oh.
She's a nursing baby, so she'd had nothing to eat, and she was in pretty bad shape. And she had rickets. I don't know exactly how she got the rickets, but her legs are bowed, and she was very unhealthy. Her digestion was terrible when I got her. And so we had to do some special diets and a lot of comforting. She is very insecure and very angry. She's a very, very angry child to start with. She's getting over that. She's not like that anymore, but it was a nightmare to begin with, because it's not like just having a new daughter, it's like having a very, very needy daughter. And
with a history of
with
damage.
a history that's terrible. They told me when they went to get her that she was living like a pig under the house in dirt that was 4 inches thick and mud, and she looked like it too. It was really bad. So she's had a huge amount of adjustments to make, but now she's doing really, really well. I mean, she's happy. She speaks English. She's almost 2, and she's doing just fantastic. We still have to be really, really careful with her. Any kind of new situation will make her feel very insecure, but we just have to be there for her all the time. And she's gotten to where if she's naughty, she knows what to do now, because she does have a lot of anger in her. And if she's naughty, she gets mad or something, I'll say, Hannah, are you supposed to do that? And she'll come over to me and sit on my lap, and she'll say, pray, pray. So cute.
Precious. Learning to turn to Jesus
Yes.
at a young age. That's really, really awesome, though, that you got her when you did. So then there's the other one. And what is her name, Leroy?
Mimi.
And how old is she?
She has just turned 9.
Okay. So is she an easy child?
No, actually, she's probably harder than Hannah is.
Because she has a longer history.
She started out way harder than Hannah.
Yeah,
Do you want me to tell the story?
yeah, you need to tell her.
it was one of those situations where we were sitting at the table and our interpreter just turned to us and she says, so I got this phone call. They have a little girl that they need you to take. Can you go get her? And I'm like, today? What's the situation? Who is she? How old is she? What, you know?
Yeah.
It's like no 9 months. It's more like 9 seconds. You want her or not? You know? So we found out the situation a little bit. I guess it was another situation where the mother had left her and the father was trying to work and he was having to travel and the little girl was left alone by herself most of the time. And he was a very violent person too. And so she was not only alone most of the time, but when he was with her, he was really mean to her. And so we went over there and we talked to the father for quite a while and decided that the Lord is giving us another one. And he told us, he said, I'm giving her to the Lord by giving her to you. Because he realized that he wasn't a good father. And with no mother, it was a bad situation. Well, so when we first got Mimi, I never met a child like her, and I did not like her. I have to admit it, I did not like her. She was loud, and she was demanding, and she was dirty, and she stole, and she lied all the time. It was like you couldn't have a conversation. She'd be right in your face and demanding all your time and attention, and then she'd steal from us, and it was really difficult. And at first I didn't really handle it well and I didn't deal with it. And then one day I was just praying about it that whole time when I was feeling so bad about this situation. I was like, do I have to have another daughter? I like little girls, but that one was really difficult because she was hard to deal with. And I was just praying, Lord, you're going to have to give me love for this child. And she had done something. I think she'd stolen something. And the Lord told me, you need to go discipline this child. And I'm thinking, oh dear, I don't want to.
I want to discipline in love, but I don't love.
But I did. I went in there, and when I was finished talking to her, it was just like my whole heart changed. And I just had this peace in my heart about taking her and a love for her that I'd never had before. And ever since then, I've seen major changes. She's a different child. She's learned English in 5 months, and she can carry on complete conversations. Not the best grammar yet, but we're still working on it. She can talk to me, and she wants to be held. She wants to be loved. She doesn't want to steal or lie anymore. She's still going to be bad from time to time. That's how she grew up. But she's really trying hard, and she's just a different person. It's just amazing to see the changes.
That's really neat. That's really awesome. So as we've been here on the property, I see some buildings around, and there's one that is partially completed, and I just wanted to ask Leroy about that. Maybe we can go over there in a little bit and take some video there, but what is that building that you're building?
Well, that building, we decided we needed a kitchen, and currently we have a kitchen in our house, which is the normal way of doing things here. But we are sure that God is planning for us to get a little bit bigger here, and so we decided we would build a kitchen and use concrete and metal and tile roof, so that we don't have to rebuild it every 3 years. So we have been working on that project actually for quite a while, and the reason it is taking so long is because the children's needs and the missionary work of directing them to God is actually coming first, and the building project is taking second place or third or fourth to other things. And so it seems like it's going really slow, but every chance that we get, we are making progress, and we're getting close to putting the roof on here pretty soon. So
good. So as part of what you do here as the father of the home, directing them to God, you're also leading them in learning to work outside more, aren't you?
Yes, as I do my work, those that are not busy learning a different language or cooking or doing other things that are needed, then they work with me, whatever I'm doing. And for quite some time I've been laying block, doing cement work, and so Sado, our oldest boy, he is getting very good at it. So
Mimi's even been helping with that.
yeah, Mimi has really been enjoying it, and she's getting very good at it. So, and that's good, because at the beginning when Mimi was lying and stealing, that was a punishment for her to come work with Dad. And we moved lots of dirt, Mimi and I and Sado, and that was her punishment. But now she is beginning to enjoy working.
Oh, she's always begging me, can I help Daddy? Can I help Daddy?
And it's no longer a punishment, and it's good, healthy work for her.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it is.
it's very, very good for the children.
I heard that cement block kind of holds water, and and Mimi and Hannah got a benefit from in the hot season.
Yeah. We the building is rectangular, but the kitchen part is square, and so the access there, we have a storage unit, one on each side, and we plan on locking up some of our valuables, the tools and so forth, because they tend to walk off in this environment. And so, and then the
They get permanently borrowed.
Yeah, permanently borrowed, that's right.
and then the center space, we will be able to lock that also, but that is where we will store our food, and it opens up into the kitchen. And so it's been very hot here in January.
In the afternoons,
In the afternoons. And so I have some tarps, and I laid a tarp in there and filled it with water one day and let Hannah and Mimi go swimming. And they really enjoyed that. I even got in there with them.
I'm sure they enjoyed that.
So we are very comfortable with that at the present. Of course, we don't know how many children the Lord is going to send here. So of course that may be larger in the future.
So I understand that during the rainy season, talking about water here, there was a bit of a water problem.
Well, I don't know if you call it a problem or an adventure, but we found that our house was built in well, it's right next to a waterfall, and the creek goes right by the house, kind of around the house and down that way. And it's very, very pretty, but during the rainy season, the creek kind of flows under the house. So we're living in the creek. Now when the water gets really high, that's a little nerve-wracking, and you feel the, shaking a little bit, and you're like, oh, I wonder if I'm gonna have to take swimming lessons today, It's a little unnerving, but yeah.
So the water came pretty much over the whole property.
Well, where we're sitting right here, yeah, there was water flowing over this.
Over almost all of it. There was just a few little spots where there wasn't water. Not very many though.
Yeah. Along with that subject, our bridge is made out of bamboo.
Old.
And it goes over
Broken bamboo.
what you would call the creek. It's actually a pretty large ditch. And they had put some cement culverts down in there and then covered it up with dirt and maybe a little rock, I don't know. But during the rainy season before we arrived, it had washed out everything except for the cement culvert.
No.
And so
you have cement and bamboo bridge.
Well, the cement is just like down in the bottom of the ditch,
It's
and the
in the
bamboo is
bottom,
suspended above, so the cement isn't helping us any.
And so, but actually the cement is what saved our bridge, but it caused other problems also. Whatever fell down in the creek, branches, trees, went up against that and created a dam. But it saved our bridge.
But the water came over.
But then the water was flowing out all over the ground here, and then running.
And it was deep. It was like this deep.
Yeah.
It was
and
really
running
exciting.
back down towards the house and towards the well. In fact, at the well where we take our baths, we had a good 2 feet of water flowing over that.
Over the well.
And we were putting in the foundation for the kitchen at that time, and the water was flowing over the foundation.
Oh no.
And so I decided that maybe we should raise it up at least a brick height. So we have done that. So it was quite interesting this last year.
And we didn't get much rain. They were really worried about it. They weren't able to plant all the rice fields around here because we got so little rain. And so we're like, ooh, I wonder what it's like during a good rainy year, you know?
Yeah, if this is a bad rainy season, what's coming next year?
We were really praying that we could build a dorm where it'll be up on dry ground before next rainy season, but I don't see that happening right now.
Yet. So what would it take to build a dorm?
Money.
Okay.
Well, money, time, and
Effort.
effort.
Lots of effort.
So,
Are you talking about a cement and block dorm type of building, or are you talking about another bamboo structure?
well, we are still talking, obviously, but I have been thinking that I would like to have a living room in the center of the house, and I would like to have cement on the floor for that.
With tile.
And there's several reasons. When in the summertime it gets very hot here, and I was thinking it might be nice to run water across your floor, and with a little fan you could really cool it off. And so, and the ground does not get quite as hot as the air, so that would be very nice. Plus, the termites don't eat the concrete quite as much as they do on the wood structures.
Yeah, when you stand next to the wall in your bamboo house, do you hear the meeting?
Yes, we do hear the meeting.
It's scary, isn't it?
And so, yeah, there's some good reasons for a concrete floor and some concrete posts. But then we would really like to have some wood and bamboo in the structure, and so we would like to do that. I would like to have the bedrooms up off the ground, and then in around the living room. And of course, we don't know the mix of girls and boys that we're going to have, but we would be able to then separate them, one side of the house and the other side of the house. And then built into the house, we would like our house a part of the house, but yet a little bit separate, so that there's some privacy that that you will find that you would like to have when you are in this environment that you don't have naturally.
Right. Bamboo walls have ears very easily because they're barely walls.
Yeah, they're grass. It's grass.
We would like to design the house for a large family, but yet to give privacy where it is needed, but to bring everyone together. When we're not sleeping in our rooms or studying in our rooms, the living room needs to be the central activity. And so that's what we would like to do.
That's the way it is right now. It's like a big family. I mean, right now we have 11, no, it's changing every day. We have 13 I think.
The three of your boys are home.
Yeah, 3 of my boys are home, and then I'm getting another daughter today. And so, so it keeps expanding, but it's a real cozy family feeling in our home. And we don't want our school to get so big that we don't have one-on-one time with each child, because each child in this area has either been through war, they've been through losing their families, or they've come out of animism, or every person has a special need. And we want to be able to meet each need individually. So if you get too big, you can't really do that. Not with 2 people. We get worn out as it is, you know. And so our boys have come. 2 of our boys are staying with us and helping us, because just with the 2 little girls, that's like a full-time job for 10 people. It's not a normal situation. And then plus having the classes, we teach English, Bible, and math every day, and so it's a lot of work. And then the gardening and the work program and keeping up the property.
And you have maids to do the laundry, right?
No.
No?
No. Every afternoon or every other afternoon, I am out there at the well scrubbing laundry by hand with my little scrub brush.
And your little helper.
Yeah, my Hannah sort of helps me. Sometimes she'll take my clean clothes that I've just finished and
Put them in the dirt.
put them in the dirt and scrub them around in the dirt a while. And I'm like, oh no, I gotta start over again. But at least she tries to help.
She's learning. She's learning.
She is.
So most of the time, each person does their own laundry pretty much. Try to do that.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, the
idea.
little ones, they can't.
The
Until
little
they
ones
learn.
can't. And Mimi can't. She should be able to at 9 years old. 9-year-olds in Thailand know how to do laundry. But Mimi had never been taught. Her mother left her, and so she had no training. And so we've been helping her with hers, but we're teaching her to take over some
So
of
she
those
can do
responsibilities. She's just not quite ready yet.
Yeah, but the older ones do their own.
Yeah, the older kids do their own, and then the challenge with laundry is to find a place to hang it. We bought hangers because we thought, well, if they're hanging on hangers, we can just line them all up on the bamboo and have plenty of room for everybody. And then our neighbors discovered the hangers.
And they like them too.
They love them. I think I've about supplied the whole village now, so I can start, collecting some of my own. But it's the borrow permanently idea.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, they're God's hangers.
Yes, they're God's hangers, and He's
If
been
He
able
wants
to.
them to have them, then
That's right. It's
it's up
fine.
to Him, right?
It's fine. I thought for next time there was a special event or something that I should just buy each of the neighbors a package of hangers.
There you go.
Take it to them. I think they'd like it.
Yeah, they probably would. So I wanted to ask you about the cooking here. Is cooking, you go to the nearest big supermarket and you buy everything you need off of the shelves, and it's all packaged in the right sizes, and
What
you
is
can
it?
easily get peanut butter, and
It is a market, you're right about that.
it's a market. Okay, it's not a
market.
supermarket building like we think of in America with
It's a-
shelves,
It's
and
a very large building.
it covers
and-
the whole town, and you have to go here for this and there for that.
Well, it doesn't cover the
covers a
entire
block.
house, but it covers, basically, I think it's
Hey,
about a
one-
block.
Almost square block.
A square
Yeah.
block, and you go in, and the first thing to do is to get past
Take a deep breath.
pig's heads. They have like pig's heads
It's
and
a
all the
delicacy
entrails
in
and
Thailand.
things sitting there. So you got to get past that until you find one with the vegetables, and then when you get to the vegetable one, you have to turn real quick and face the vegetables, because right behind you I don't know what it is, but it's really disgusting. I'm a vegetarian, I feel that way. Okay, but you can buy vegetables and you can buy fruit. I don't always know what things are. So you just look at it and think, well, that looks like an
wonder-
interesting vegetable. Let's try one. Try
I
that
wonder
one.
what they would do with that.
But I can also buy tofu and I can buy eggs. And so that's basically our protein source, mostly tofu. And there's another store you go to, you can buy rice, big bags of rice.
And
So we
potatoes.
eat, rice and potatoes and vegetables for every meal.
With some tofu thrown in here
With
and
some
there,
tofu thrown
and maybe
in.
some egg.
Yeah,
And it's
once in a
very
while
good.
some egg. And it's really, really good.
Yes, it is.
I really don't know how to do it myself, but in this culture, once a child is old enough to take care of themselves, it's considered respect to take care of the parents, which is, at first, when I first heard that, I was like, oh no, that's terrible. And yet, to them, that's appropriate. And so my students take turns. Everybody does the cooking. They just take turns doing the cooking and the cleaning and the dishes and everything. And I get in there and help them every chance I get, just because I like to. But
And learn what they do with some of those things.
but I'm really thankful that they have to do this. Or that they like to do this, because we don't have a stove. We have, they call
Well,
it.
it's a stove.
They call it a charcoal burner.
Yeah. So we've talked a little bit about what's going on here and how you're working with. You have 3 students right now, and then 2 extra daughters. Which are also students, but in a
Right.
different way. But what exactly are you, besides teaching them English and that kind of thing, what exactly is the vision that the Lord has given you for what you're to be doing here? I mean, there are some big projects, and I know you looked at helping with some different big projects. I mean, hundreds of kids at a time and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But the Lord has led you here, and you just have a few. It seems like, you know, the Lord has a special plan. So what's the special plan that He's laid on your heart?
Our goals are to raise children that really walk with God. When we look at the Bible, we see the people that really stood firm for God and did tremendous things for God. They, many times, they had to stand alone, and to do that, they had to have a walk with God that was real. It had to be a part of them, be their character. And so we are wanting to encourage. Of course, we cannot do for these children that. We are trying to encourage these children to obtain their own walk with God. And we do need to keep it small in order to do that. One person with God can do more than all the Ahabs that have ever been. And so that is our vision.
Yeah, we've noticed that here in Thailand there's a lot of people who believe in the Bible. They know all about the beasts and the bears of Daniel and Revelation, but they don't know how to live a Christian life. They don't really know who God is. They don't really have a personal walk with Him. They're still afraid of the ghosts and the spirits. And you know, when my students come to me and they tell me, "Mama, will you walk up to the bathroom with me?" And I say, "Why?" And they say, "We are so afraid of the ghosts." And so it gives us an opportunity. I sat down with them and I said, you know, you don't have to be afraid, because yes, these are real things, but they're defeated. God beat them. They're you know, they're not a threat to you as long as God is in your heart and as long as He's on your side. And they don't know this. Even the Adventists, even the people who have been baptized for a while now, they don't know. And so we feel like we need to train them to really know what it means to be a Christian, not just at church, but in their everyday lives. We're also, by raising our children, our little girls for God, we're teaching the people in our local church how to deal with their children. You know, they don't have, in this area anyway, they don't train their children, they just let them grow up. And so you see a lot of stealing and lying and cheating and everything, and they watch us like hawks. You know, I think that's probably one of the reasons why God has given us the little ones, is so that we can demonstrate to them. Because if you can see how to do it, it's so much easier to do it. And that puts a huge responsibility on us, because then we have to go to God every day and say, how do we do this? What do you want us to do? Because we have nothing in ourselves. We cannot do this. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned since I've come over here, is that I can do nothing. God has to be in control, or we're failures.
And we are seeing changes in the children at church.
Yes, even at church.
Yeah, they do watch everything we do, and there is tremendous changes in our little girls.
Yeah.
So they may not understand all that they want, but they really want to know God.
They do.
That's a blessing. So, are there more places here that could use help like this? If there was another family that was dedicated to God, are there more places that...
If they already have a walk with God, and if they are feeling called by God to do work, there's always room. I mean, there's only like a little handful of people here, not just in Thailand, but in Asia, there's hardly anybody. And it's really sad, because there's just so much and so little that one family can do. And to do it right, it takes your whole everything just to do a little bit. And I've been told that if we build our dorm, there's hundreds of kids who want to come here. And I'm going to have to tell them no, because I can only do so much. But yes, if there's people who have the same vision and wanted to start their own little projects, there's plenty of room. I mean, from our project to the next project that I know of is a long ways, hours and hours of driving from here. So there's all that space in between. There's villages everywhere.
Yeah, lots of people.
Yeah, and the local people, like my students, I get this vision in my mind. I know that right now there's just 3 big, older students, but if each one of them goes back to their village and they share the gospel and they share how to live a Christian life, and then they can do the same thing. I mean, it can just go like wildfire. So even though it looks like a little tiny thing that we're doing, I'm praying that the ripple effect will be huge.
Yeah. Well,
that's
with
my
God
vision.
and with the holy angels, that's what will happen.
Yeah.
That's what will happen. Okay, so what is your blog? People want to read more stories about what's going on here.
If you read my blog, you'll get everything I think and say. It's sharons.jesusforasia.org.
Okay, and we'll put that up on the screen also, and so your contact information is on the blog also, and
Yes,
people
it is.
can get in touch with you. So if someone wanted to get involved in your project in some way, I know you would ask for prayer first of all, because it is so important to teach these kids what God is really like, and to be a true example of what God is really like.
When you're living on the front lines, you're being attacked by the enemy continuously. Mortars, machine gun fire from the devil every single day. And so our prayer warriors are probably the #1 reason we're still here. It is not an easy job. But yeah, definitely pray for us. If God inspires people to do more than that, then that's also a huge blessing. But there's a lot of ways that people can partner up with us.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you so much for spending this time with us in the beautiful setting with the breeze blowing and the leaves and everything, and the banana trees behind us. It's a pleasure to be able to visit you here.
Well, it's good to have you here.
And we'll continue to pray for you as you work with these beloved, beautiful, beautiful young people.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today for this special edition of the Mission TV show in Thailand.